To call the order the Townsend Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025 at 7:01 p.m. Have a roll call, please, starting with Mr. Potsdam.
Michael Potsdam, present.
James Doreen, present.
James Gates.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin, do you mind reading this pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and or deletions. There's one thing that we could do this meeting, or we could do next meeting. I want to put it on the table. So, as part of, and I'll throw my chair report in at the same time. I'd like to welcome Colby Streeter as our new agent. Started last Monday on the 13th. He comes to us as a past commissioner and resident of Townsend, and part of the community. We welcome him. Excited to have him. And
Thank you, Colby.
thank you, James. So,
And do we not have another one that
what?
is Erin now? You're gonna announce her that
She's land use coordinator. She
like Jessica, in other words, same position.
Yeah, but there's other. Okay. Or well, I don't even know what Aaron's last name is, so we also welcome.
Just
If you want to go down that road, we also welcome a new land use coordinator. Do you remember what Aaron's last name is?
Yeah. So
Sheffield.
Sheffield. Yes, Aaron Sheffield. She was the grant coordinator.
Yep.
He previously
Has now moved up.
promoted to land use coordinator. And we want to welcome her.
And still grant, right? Oh,
Well,
let's
of
hope.
course,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to. You know,
Not everything we get.
we understand what we do here.
So one of the things we need to do this meeting or next meeting is vote to allow Colby to act on our behalf for administrative approvals.
Correct.
So we can do it.
Be more specific as to
Sign permits,
Review all the.
review, if someone comes in
so
and has
he's
like, they
gonna
want to
do.
count 2 trees. It's something that we implemented a couple of years ago. I think it was when you were off.
We can make we want to make a motion, we go for it.
Get it off the
Get
table.
it done.
Get it done. We have quorum. Get it off the table.
Comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, and you can always ask one of us if there's questions. So I'm going to add that to 3.3. No, you're not.
So is that somewhat changing the title or just?
It gives him authorization to act on our behalf in matters that are minor to keep essential business moving.
So we as commissioners, we should allow the commissioners blessing on that. Pat's not here, or is she coming in late? You don't know?
No, she's going to join us on Zoom.
All right, so
She isn't here yet, but
I just want to make sure she has her.
Well, we get around to it in a while.
Yeah. Just, I mean, I think she's gonna wanna make sure she has her,
Okay.
you know, approval too.
Vote to authorize.
If Kobe's gonna be doing that on behalf as commissioners, it's good to hear every commissioner, yay. I'm all for it. I think it's, you know, we need that.
We did it with Autumn, we did it with.
Correct.
Matt, we did it with Jessica, we did it with Jessica, I think maybe again, she's changed positions.
No, we had her do it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And approval. The 3.3, hopefully Pat will be able to join us.
Yep.
So that was one of the chair reports. The second thing was, and I didn't have a chance to do it today. I thought about it. Kevin, I know you talked to Greg Boyd semi-regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ask him what the status is on those?
Surveys?
Yeah, because we have to have them done and invoiced by March.
Well, I'll be seeing them on Friday morning. I'll ask them.
Perfect.
And that's the property on West Meadow, the two
On
on
West Meadow and one on Dudley.
Dudley.
And we're actually gonna talk tonight about another grant opportunity where we can apply for more money to do.
Wow. Yeah, it'd be a good idea. Whether
We did
can.
well on that other grant, that 25,000, was it? We got the first phase and the second phase.
Yeah, so, yeah,
We did well.
we,
And I hope, you know, Aaron will be a valuable asset when it comes to the approach and the knowledge on the
Who's that?
grant writing. Aaron,
Oh, I think so.
you know,
I couldn't agree more.
she's, you know, has the knowledge of such. That's great.
well, yeah, part of that was asking for more than, they were even offering. And,
We did.
yeah, yes. We kind of just threw a number out, not just threw a number, we had an idea what it was gonna be, but
Then you reapproached for nothing.
they came back to us and said, we'll give you
Yes,
this much, but we voted to open it up again,
right.
so. Let's keep doing it, and then I'd like to, at some point, talk strategic planning on what do we do moving forward with those properties that are found. To woodlots and manage them better. I think that's
It's a good way to do it, the right way
one
to
of our
do it.
goals.
Yeah.
I'm sure Colby would be on board with that.
He
Having,
may have a little
Arbor
experience, he
experience.
may have a little experience in that department.
Well, it's been something I think we've all had in the back of our mind about better forest management. Now looking at what happened in, to the little state across from us in California, forest management is an important
Yeah.
what
factor.
would happen in Massachusetts, the end of summer into the fall, all of fall.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot of fires around.
um,
Boy
It
Scouts
would
would be a
also
nice thing to see.
generate revenue for either our funding or from, for our
Future.
purposes
Yeah.
or even for the
future.
town, so. Review and approve meeting minutes from 1/8/25. Did everyone get a chance to review them?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
What question?
Oh,
I'll make a
go ahead.
motion, then we open it up for questions.
Yeah, I'll make
I'm
a
just
mo-
curious, do I wait for someone to call me regarding the Squanicook Meadows soccer fields?
Did you fill out the volunteer request form and submit it to?
I did.
Okay, so someone from, I think Sabrina, who's here, who's been here.
Right.
Yeah,
last
who's
time,
been helping us.
she'll reach out to you when
Okay, she will.
it's
Okay,
formed.
yeah, just want to make sure.
And let you know when you've been, so you have to be, appointed from the select board.
Aha,
So you pay attention to that, to, the calendar. for that. And their schedule, and, once that's done, and they have the members they want, they'll reach out with either a phone call or an email.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't supposed to be doing something beyond.
No,
filling
you
out
wait,
that form.
Well,
well, you volunteered to do it,
yeah,
you wait for them, but if you don't hear from them by the first week of February,
Yeah.
or let me know and I'll ask,
Yeah, I can come in and ask.
we can-
you know,
So that's a separate subcommittee, and it's not under any overview of conservation.
nope.
That's
It's
gonna
under-
be,
It's under the select board because they own the property.
Yeah,
right, so that's gonna be a separate thing he will do on his own, not, and it won't be a part of any of our meetings or anything that we do.
No, so.
well, he may bring it up, may talk about it,
Yeah,
you know, so
Or
that way we
come
know
to
what's
us
going
with-
on.
maybe feedback.
Yeah.
So, all right, so then it's kind of a subcommittee from conservation that they put together to do
Well,
the Squanicook
No,
matter.
so they have representatives.
yeah, it really isn't, but I get it. I
Okay,
understand.
I'm just wondering what our part, our
Oh,
responsibility.
Colby can field this.
So last night's select board meeting, you were appointed as the rep during that,
Okay,
and there is a.
I was wondering if there was one last night.
In February, and, I'm missing your email, so give me your email and I'll get it out to you.
okay,
So Cobra will be working with them through conservation.
Who will? No, Mike. So,
No, Mike.
Kobe too, are you involved in it with
No.
meetings and what?
But I will be.
No, I mean, but I'm sure Colby will be there in the back, Colby will be there at the back door waiting to help if he needs it, you know?
Okay,
If Mike's gonna
well,
need help,
they don't want too many irons in the fire either,
Yeah.
because you get too many people staring and not
nothing
enough
get
people
done,
throwing, you
Yeah.
end up,
spinning,
yeah.
right,
So-
Right.
What it's a representative from the key stakeholders of that property. So you have, select board, you have these, endangered species permit holder, you have conservation, which it's not within our jurisdiction,
no,
but it is considered a conservation
Because
property.
about everything out of it, other than the slope going up on one side, is out of 200.
Yeah.
So it really isn't, you know, doesn't have much to do with conservation.
Then there's a member of the water department. Have they decided who's going to be on it from the water department?
I don't recall if it was in the, I don't.
what draws somebody in from the water department?
Because that is a well site.
Recharge, check for recharge area.
Gotcha,
And then,
I'm just trying to get an idea of what conservation's responsibility.
everyone
Should
has,
we have some more exposure, should we go down?
Everyone just
That's
has a
all.
stake.
if you
That's
wanna,
all.
so it's,
Helping what we can do, that's all.
no, so
Just
it's
keeping
just,
on
it's just feedback. And the thing is that conservation restriction actually comes with a template because it's a natural heritage property or, jurisdictional area. So
No, I
they're
understand
gonna
that.
provide the town with a template, and then that subcommittee will form it.
Okay. You know, along with, we realize that Fish and Game has a degree of, they're gonna wanna stay abreast of that,
They want someone from natural heritage.
over and enough said. And that holds a lot, even more clout than FG, which is interesting, which
So
is
it's
interesting.
a process that historically takes time, but this shouldn't take as much time as permitting. Expanding the soccer fields that are gonna happen concurrently.
Yep.
So,
And it's been submitted what the increase is, what the field, blah, blah, blah. So there's a
oh yeah,
process.
no, there's also a stormwater permit associated with it. So,
NOI,
nope,
You know,
stormwater,
the stormwater.
so expanding the parking.
and that won't go in front of us.
Well, we're just gonna sign. It's just
Yeah,
gonna be a
it'll be
mandatory
mandatory.
referral is all it's gonna be for
Okay.
us. As far as conservation goes, it's a
And-
planning board, it's under the direction or the discretion of the planning board they're the ones that manage the stormwater, approve stormwater.
We can also
I know
request
that. All I'm
Hazelwood to
saying is
come in
that
and-
out of this little discussion, it seems like we truly should have a good knowledge of it and be with it. and
Well, yeah.
helping out and whatnot.
Mr. Mike's gonna be right
Yeah.
there.
Mike will be part of the
Yeah.
conservation restriction side of it. If you would like to hear a presentation about it, I'm more than willing to do it. But in regards to discussing it, I have to stay on the applicant side of the table
Because of,
because of everything.
Correct.
I'm not, I think they were surprised when I said I wasn't gonna do the subcommittee. I'm gonna look for someone else and,
you can't,
you
too
know,
close.
yeah,
Too many hats,
oh yeah,
too many hats.
way too many on that one.
Yep.
Um,
Everything from, you want the kids,
and even Colby has to be
Work.
careful on that one because he's.
He probably got kids on there too,
He's a
don't
coach,
you? Oh, he's.
at least one team.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that?
How many teams?
1.5.
Well, and a half teams.
right? I think
So,
anybody involved in it is a coach and should be exempt from anything. That's all just good stuff. Leave them
all
alone.
right, so.
Sounds good.
Now, we didn't finish approving the meeting minutes. Do we have a?
No,
I'll
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of
Did
January
that answer your question
8th,
also?
twenty
Kevin?
twenty-five.
I second it.
James Dorian, yes.
I said yes.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Just like that.
1.7 staff report. Colby, did you have anything you wanna discuss or?
No, I didn't have any, site visits this week, so, upstairs, so.
No.
It's a good week to be in the house.
Yes.
I don't think that, there's gonna be attended to in the agenda already, so. Say anything. Yeah, I'm glad to be here, excited. I do wanna thank you guys, commissioners, for volunteering your time and expertise to be here. It's important, so, thank you.
You're welcome, my friend.
Moving on.
We got Lisa. Okay.
Yeah, we have to note that on.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we have.
Hi, Lisa. Just saying hi.
Good evening.
So 2.1 is 718. Notice of intent continued, 20 Sonnet Row Road, TWB 2024-197, DEP number 3080719.
Nice.
Applicant is James.
Todd said,
Project status is to raise and rebuild a single-family home within a 100-foot buffer of Banco Vinton Pond. Was Matt going to join us tonight or another?
He didn't, I don't think he indicated, no, probably not.
you need to recuse yourself,
Right.
and then you can speak on on you and Jane's behalf.
All right.
We needed,
You need the update of the map.
And so we put in all the changes with the erosion control, the silt up the hill down the bottom.
you only put
There
water.
you go.
You
That's
didn't
all
put
ones.
silt fence.
Okay, so that, I'm looking at just to double silt all the way from the top of the road straight down.
Only water though. Is that something that we're okay with?
Okay, in the sense that you would be okay with just waters, or okay with not having it on
When I
the silt
was
fence on
there,
the maps?
On the sidewalk, the conditions going down that bank, you're not gonna have any lateral flow. It's gonna go straight down the hill, and I felt that I myself, after reviewing the site, feel that a double layer of wattles would be more than sufficient, because down at the bottom is where the issue would be, going across the backside of the water line. Did he put silt fence across the beach area, the lower area?
So he stops at
No,
what looks
that's
to
what I was
be.
looking at. I'm
Looks like
gonna
he
chime in
continued
and
the
deck.
then,
Do I not talk now or not?
No, you're
No, you're part of the
you-
conversation.
Yeah, you
Okay.
are part of the conversation.
It looks like to me like he put it under the deck. It continues under the deck. It goes up to the deck, but I don't know.
no, I'm only seeing water line. I see concrete, which is the retaining wall. I do not see anything to the landing, I don't see anything that demonstrates any self-control to the
Below
end.
porch.
So that's
Below the porch.
not a problem. Mr. Chair? I-
Mike,
Well, hold on.
Mike, after looking at that, and, it probably should have some silt fence right down along the bottom side of the deck, cause the water line's still a long ways away. Right along the back side and bring it right back up to there. Just that section going across the bottom.
Right on.
Yeah,
Well,
it's,
there, we can meet,
yeah, we'll just ask,
We
we're gonna ask you to,
we can make a
we're gonna,
change
we're gonna
on
make a
that.
little
That's
change
easy.
and we're gonna ask you to put that little stretch right across there in silt fence.
Okay, now I'll have access to lots of silt fence. So, and I wouldn't mind, I've already talked to the neighbors about putting it down the hills as well. Last time we talked about wattle, silt fence, walkable between wattle, silt,
Yeah,
so the wattle is butted up against the silt fence.
Yeah.
okay.
Depending on who draws it, and I've seen it both ways. It's either on the down slope or up slope. The silt fence site. Kevin, I don't know if you care.
I don't have any, I just, whether he wants to put, whether he wants to set wattles on the inside of the silt fence, or hay bales for that matter, but wattles is because he's got plenty, but I would think that when, what's his name drew it? Drew it going right under the deck. And you're not seeing it, Jimmy, but it does continue when it goes under the deck and comes right around.
all I'm saying, it doesn't indicate on plan. I'm not seeing it indicated on plan, so we need to make,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not specifically showing it.
Alright.
Nope, that's a good point.
And
just tell me when I can chime in on this.
I would ask that he runs run a silt fence right on the bottom side of the deck.
Absolutely.
And then if he wants to put a row of wattles right across the top of that on the uphill side and connect it to the wattles that's coming down the hill,
Mhm.
I think that would be more than appropriate.
But the silt fence can't just be straight at the bottom though. It's gotta go up, even if it's just one length of stakes.
Well, it's gonna be longer than that, cause it is like 30 feet, so I mean, you can double stake it. Cause you're gonna have a stake every 10 feet, put a stake every 5 feet, just run it right into it. That's not gonna, unless something happens and you get 100-year storm, I don't think you're gonna have any issues there anyway, especially this time of year, she's frozen solid,
In theory.
in theory. And, I think having that extra added protection going across, plus putting it down a little further, so you're not fighting underneath your deck trying to install it, Mike. You put the
Well, you
thing,
should know that there is no underneath the deck.
Right.
It's all
yeah,
rubble from some previous.
yes, it's a mess, it's
So
a
is that
mess.
gonna get cleaned up as part of this?
Yeah,
So that way, it's below your construction,
right.
and
So-
it gives you a little bit more room. Having a little bit of experience with this kind of work,
Oh, yeah.
gives you a little bit more room to operate those small machines that are the only machines that you can run in there.
Mhm.
So
And
on the plan, it's indicated a water line from April 2024, and it goes up underneath the deck.
it's way down now.
Right, but we also have to look at historically.
Yeah, I mean, if this job was gonna run into the springtime, and you didn't get started, then I guess I would suggest if all of a sudden water starts coming up, put them back up right on
Retreat.
the edge.
You're gonna have to
Which is
retreat.
probably gonna put them slightly into that deck area elevation wise,
Mhm.
which is gonna be harder, which is gonna be a more difficult thing. And I think if you're gonna do that, then I would probably put hay bales across, and now you got some weight. Now you got
So
some
we're
weight,
gonna
because
time out.
you got on,
Pat's joining us. Pat, you there?
You're not gonna drive a stake down through that, Mike.
Through
It'd be almost impossible to drive
Yeah.
a stake down into that.
Sorry,
So-
when Pat gets settled, we'll be talking.
Yeah, we could put, I would say maybe put some hay bales across there. Hay bales, you know, they weigh 50 pounds. They're gonna sit on there. They're gonna have some lateral pressure on the deck, and I think they're gonna be just fine. You ain't gonna be able to dig them in because you got old residual concrete or cement or
Mhm.
whatever stuff you got there, brick,
I'll get technical on this one. You're gonna want straw bales, not hay bales,
straw bales, yeah.
because of the seeds.
Yes.
They get inundated with
Yes,
water.
straw bales.
That's what he meant.
Well, no, because
Yeah.
construction hay, but if the water is involved,
Right.
And
yeah,
there could be, right, a possibility, like you say, if you had a deluge or something. We'll just condition
that
that,
happens.
yeah, Mr.
Oh.
Ryan.
I'd like just
One
to,
second, I just wanted to
go,
note that,
go for, I'm only gonna
Um,
take 30 seconds.
well, I just want to note that the pond elevations from past site visits are noted on the
Well,
plan as well, so the water line from 4 to 24 is relatively high compared to past water
Mhm.
elevations from
mhm.
8/29/22 and 7/22/22. I don't remember if they're considered drought periods, but
The pond's gonna do what the pond's gonna do. I think this is my take on this. One of the more important factors is gonna be what, and I don't see anything. There should be a degree of erosion control on the roadside. All right, for us to run double wattles down there is a waste of time, okay? Lose one of the wattles, go wattles and silt fence there
Jimmy, what we got going on here is the edge of pavement,
where the tar
the
road
edge of
is.
pavement. is
And I
the-
noticed there was old sand-filled socks to the top of the hill there.
yeah, you
So
want to
there's-
prevent the water from coming off the road.
Yeah,
It's key to make sure we resist whatever water's coming down the road, down from the road. That's where it's gonna stop.
correct.
The water's not gonna flow to the right side or the
No,
left side
it's
of
going
those.
down.
That's going down. Where you put the hay bales should be at the highest possible location you can put them. The pond's not gonna tell you what it's gonna do until it's either real high or it stays low.
Yeah.
That's important to put silt fence, staked in bales at the highest area that it can be put in. Don't let the pond dictate to us where they should or shouldn't go. That's straightforward, the most important thing. I say sand wattles
Right,
to the top of the hill to prevent any downflow. Lose one of these sets of wattles, put silt fence in, because that's only gonna
Well,
take
you're not gonna
and
get
protect us from
Well,
stuff blowing
you're not-
off.
I don't know if
from
you
the
get silt
sides.
fence unless that silt fence was glued right to the edge of the pavement.
That's what it
And
was,
then actually
literally,
put the
old
flap-
nylon filled
Put the
sand.
put the flap into the road and then set hay bales across the top of it, or straw wattles.
That's-
Across
I
the
think
top,
doing the
because they're gonna
straw
be
wattle-
on the,
That's
they're gonna be
key.
on the pavement.
This, I mean, down to here is only important as what you do on the top of this area. You're not gonna generate any water coming down here necessary. That's a constructed area. This is where it's gonna come, and this is where it's gotta be stopped, and this is where you gotta keep it from coming in.
So Jimmy, I'm gonna pause us for a second with that. Pat, welcome. It's
Hello, Pat.
7:29, you're joining us. You are muted.
Do we have a liberator in the building?
Okay,
You
Hi,
got
Pat.
it, you're in.
all right.
Thank you.
Can you
Sorry.
just announce yourself for, no, it's okay. Just announce yourself for 7:30, please.
All right, Pat Jomo, and the time is 7:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you wanna have I'll check in with you obviously, but, if you have a question and I don't see it, just yell.
Cold in here.
Okay,
It's the same thing.
Are you warm? We're not.
So. That
So
sounds
I think the
great,
wattles
Jimmy.
down the sides are fine, because that's not where the water's gonna be directed at.
Correct.
Across the top, you're one.
All I'm saying, lose one.
Kevin's correct on the bottom with, silt fence also.
Yep.
One of the things that we did ask was, what is the plan to get under the road for the septic line?
Isn't that already done?
No,
You have the new construction done and you've got to cut across. Uh-huh.
well,
We did talk.
You're gonna cut across or you're gonna tunnel across
Well,
or blow
yeah,
across?
they were gonna talk to Jimmy, figure it out with their engineers.
We did.
Did you talk to Jim at the highway?
no, we didn't, no.
Engineer, he said is able to dig across the road.
Who is this?
Also, his name is Steve Anderson.
Okay,
Lunenburg excavation.
He
yeah,
said
yeah.
he's also gone, gotten a permit, so it's like underneath. That it's probably one of the last things that will happen. And we can see in a way what makes sense at the time,
So,
but he'll do either one.
so he needs to get that permit now though, because it needs to be part of this. So it prevents you from having to come back to us again and having to go through it or amend it.
I think we can approve it subject to
You don't know what the details are.
on the permit for the road crossing.
I'd really like to have Jim's feedback before we just grant
We
anything.
did briefly discuss that, whether we're gonna go underground line bore or it was gonna be dug by okay, so I think I agree with, we should get that dug.
It goes across now, you know, what, yeah, I suppose he didn't want them to dig it, they could push it.
Well,
Push
you
it
can dig it whenever you want. It's just, it's as part of this rebuilding the
because
house.
it's within the, yeah, it's definitely,
It's,
that section's gonna be within the hundred, so,
I mean, you don't think about it, and then you go to do it, it's like, cool.
yeah, it needs to be part of this, really. Should be part of the order of conditions, because it's within 100 feet,
And that blessing comes from Jimmy
Jim,
H at the highway department, and that's what?
Jim, my namesake.
And then, yeah, and I think it has to go through the select board too, road opening. But that's a detail thing. The well is already under the
Temporary
road.
road closed, yeah.
So,
Nothing is under the road yet.
so the
Right.
well that's in the back of behind the septic, that's not run to your house yet either.
No,
Oh, so you wanna get,
So that's that has to be part of it too.
yeah, that wants to be part of it too, Mike.
Yeah,
All of this
well, that's what, okay.
already approved when we put in the well,
Oh,
so.
sure.
To the house. It's been approved.
Well, you had a well permit that allowed you to put in a well for this residence. Okay, it was issued by Neshoba. But you've gotta get approval from the town because you're crossing town property. You're crossing a little stretch of town property here. A lot of the houses up in that area, that is probably a similar case. But it has to be approved by one, the highway superintendent, and the board of selectmen. What the highway superintendent does is he'll go before the board of selectmen probably, and if I know Jim Smith, he's gonna say, we have a taxpayer up on Vinton Pond Road, and there's 6 or 8 camps right in the neighborhood there, right side by side, and their septic systems are across the road, and their wells are across the road, away from Vinton Pond. And these people are gonna need approval to excavate or excavate or trenchless excavate a water pipe across the road and a sewer pipe across the road.
So even though when we talked to Steve Anderson, he said, well, it is gonna be one of the last things we do, that we have done. And that, he said, so either way, I can dig a trench, I can put a plate over it if they're worried about, being open for a longer period of time, but he thinks he could do it quickly. Or we horizontal drill. So we would go to the highway department to talk to Jim Smith.
Yeah.
To have that in our back pocket, even if we go the horizontal drilling route.
Yes, because you're gonna have to get a permit either way,
Either way.
because you're crossing under a right of way.
Right.
And they're not gonna deny you, because that there's already a water line probably there under that road somewhere that goes to an old well, probably over about where you live now, or connected to the old well, or your neighbor's well. And that's what happened a lot of times up in that neighborhood. You know, somebody had an artesian well or somebody had a dug well over across the road. They just, being neighborly or second, third cousins, they just let them tie into their well. They hand dug a trench across the road, probably never said nothing, put the water line in. And you know from living up there that long that that's probably exactly what's happened to a lot of those houses. So the town won't deny you, Mike. The town still has to authorize.
It's a permitting.
Pat, do you mind muting your TV in the background or muting yourself?
Oh, I didn't even know it was really on. Andrew, can you do the TV for me?
We were listening to your show.
Well, I was.
I'm sorry. Can you turn off the TV? I didn't think they could even hear that.
Okay.
Probably a microphone built in.
So.
Okay, sorry.
Before we go too far,
No, it's okay.
is this gonna hold us up approving this plan, not having his blessing through the highway department for a sewer line going down underneath the road and the water line going underneath the road? We should make that decision now and not spend out, you know.
You should
So
be.
that was what was discussed at the last meeting. Or those
I wasn't
certain,
here at the last meeting
But
then.
do you think it's on the other plan? So, and, what's the guy who did it?
Septic.
The whole, yeah. And he did all the work with the town. Evan,
But it sounds like he did enough to do what he did, but he didn't do all of this.
well, he stopped it. Our guy was gonna do it, but then we decided it doesn't make sense to do that now, if we're gonna.
Connect, in other words, going across the road. So you did everything up until where you are preparing to go across the
No,
road.
the plan that they did goes across the road. They show where.
Right,
note
but the difference is, we
So-
were going to lay the pipe all the way up to the road, coil it up, and wait until the future until everything was done.
Colby's gonna go check right now.
What's up?
So now we don't know if it is or isn't across the road yet. Is that
No,
what-
it's not across the road.
What's
Okay,
across the road now is the old pipe from the bathroom to the
Move,
cesspool or whatever was
move,
there.
doesn't have any
No,
bearing.
he's gonna look to see if you can find, the order conditions for the septic.
Okay, if you have the OOC for the septic, that could unlock this.
They could. I just wanna make sure that. We just wanna make sure it's all done at once.
Mhm.
And being nitpicky about
Is that the modified
I
plan?
personally have had. to come
That's
back
the
and
modified plan.
And
That's a modified plan,
Do
so
the
we can
same
vote on
thing.
it if we can get the,
Yes, sir.
if we can, subject to. So at least they can, they're not gonna start construction, we're just gonna put it in the gate. I'm
Yeah.
thinking no construction start.
you know what happens.
Oh, I
We keep
know.
going on it and it's like, well, it's time to put the pipe in.
Yeah.
And they do it.
Yeah, no.
Where,
it just
where
gets
is the
ignored.
blessing?
Well,
We
the-
don't. Let's get the ducks
What we
lined up.
could, what we can do is we can, to help them move forwards, we can approve the modified plan, subject to them getting permits for a water line and a septic line from the DPW and or the town of Selectmen. They can't start until they get those approvals. That way, they can move forwards from us, go through the highway, go through the selectmen, and,
That's right.
it's just pending. That way they can keep moving forward.
Yeah, the next step is, once we get approved from the commission, is to go to the building inspector, work with the architect.
We gotta work with the town too. You gotta work with the town highway. And for us, you gotta work with the town highway and the selectmen to
Well,
get
yeah,
approval
right.
across the
The
road. But you can still go to the selectmen.
It's
I
the
mean,
planning
still
board.
go to the building inspector and work with your architect and kind of get the ball rolling. The building inspector won't be able to issue you a building permit until the highway satisfied, the town right away satisfied, and we can release that.
Well, that's why what you just suggested sounds good, because that lets us go to the next step.
So you don't have to wait on that to go to the next step on a lot of this stuff, though.
Okay.
And we're kind of offering you our experience that, you know, don't wait for the building inspector to say, oh, wait, you gotta do this.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you gotta do this. Because you'll be doing this for another 2 years.
We're telling you that the next steps to do, and you can kind of do a bunch of stuff at once, and then you can
If
maybe.
you haven't even gone to the building inspector yet to do a demo permit, it's not gonna be any benefit to anyone if we just push this through without having it on a plan, so we can see it, et cetera, et cetera.
Makes it a more
You can-
complete
You can
plan.
apply for a demolition permit.
Yeah,
It's gonna come through our office regardless, and it's still gonna throw a flag up, and it could be either not filed, pending, or approved. If you're in that pending, you know, column, you're moving along quick. So,
Do you talk to an architect or the building?
But they're saying that we can now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now this is.
oh yeah, no, it's,
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
yes, Pat.
I bet.
When the house was built, isn't there a record of what was done?
Probably not.
Probably, Pat, that was probably done either prior to World War II or right after World War II is when a lot of those camps were built, right after the war. And back then, there was no building codes, there was no
Nothing.
zoning, there was nothing. Some farmer up there, probably related to me, a few doors down, owned all that land and carved off a whole bunch of 30-foot wide lots or whatever they were, and sold them all for a couple $100 and a piece or something, and sold them to his friends and relatives and things like that. That's how that got developed up in there.
Well,
So
the
there
house
would've-
doesn't look that old, so that's why I question, you know.
It's,
Well, because
it was rehabbed a few
What was it,
times, probably.
rehab 9 or 10 years ago?
a few years now. No,
Was rehab,
it was rehab in order to sell it. It was pretty broken down, and then the owner thought, put
Hey, Jimmy, what's
40,000-50,000 into it to fix it up and make it look better
It's at
for,
70.
to
It goes
sell.
up, it's,
so it looks newer, but it's not.
no, it's not 70.
sorry, Mike, we're talking about the heat that goes up and down, up and down. There's no comfort in this room.
I think he was sufficing Pat's curiosity on the,
But
So
that's,
I guess I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Right.
I think,
Okay, well,
but
just,
we can talk about it.
you wanna continue?
Start, I personally do, but I want you to know that start with get an architect. I thought it sounded like at the last meeting you had already come up with a design.
oh, the design is complete. The architect will, convert those concept drawings into building drawings. And also give us some ideas of, there might be something that we haven't thought of in terms of construction, like your suggestion. Because the foundation will be done in two parts, we need a lot of rebar in there to make sure that they're locked together, and so just
And
suggestions like
that's not
that.
gonna change our permit for the conservation.
Right, well, here's the question, you know, because we don't do this very often.
Right.
The,
or should you?
we were taking it one step at a time, and this was the hurdle in order to
Step
get to the
number
next step.
3.
But we can, if we can be assured that eventually everything will be all worked out, then.
This is the hardest hurdle, I
They
would say,
can't,
Kevin, right?
they can't deny him. You can replace an existing structure with an existing, with
But-
a new structure.
Kevin, you do
Especially
this-
because your foundation is
is there, you're gonna put it in the same about.
Yeah. It is in
But
the
you
same
do this
footprint.
every day.
They have to
I've
stay
done
on the
this
same footprint. It's a
myself in
grandfather
town.
permit.
On a river. This is the hardest part of your whole project,
It's done.
and you're over halfway there.
Septic is approved and complete.
No,
we're
that's
looking for
three-quarters of the
some
way there.
details that might not seem like a lot, but they're not gonna slow you down from,
Mm.
Right.
you could go to the building department.
You could go to your
tomorrow.
architect.
No, I get that now. So, yeah, I'm
And-
totally with you.
And the thing is when you do that, a demo permit's separate, and then you do the building permit, and Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong. But it has to go through all the checks and balances in the different departments, planning board, conservation.
Goes for everybody, goes right to the tax collector's office. I mean, you can't get a building permit if your taxes aren't paid up, or,
Right.
different things like that. It goes all through the interdepartments of everyone in
So
town.
it comes when it hit, and they all hit at the same time, but when it hits to ours, everyone always thinks that conservation's the bad guy. And you've worked with us already, that we're the ones that are gonna hold you up, slow you down, and keep you from living your dream. You've done the hard work, the hard part with this. There's some details that I'm personally not comfortable signing off on without seeing.
Sure.
But you have enough momentum now, don't stop. Holy permits.
Why don't we,
Okay. Oh, great. Tomorrow we'll come down
So
here.
the reality is, you still have to get someone signed to do the work. I don't even know if you have the trees down yet.
They're done.
They're down?
what,
So
So,
can we approve
no,
the silver?
no,
I'm
let's,
not-
let's,
I
let's,
won't vote yes,
let's
but I'm only
do
one
So
this.
we're gonna continue.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's continue it. I'm
but
gonna,
I want them to realize that
and then you guys
I get
can
it,
keep
I get
moving
it.
you're
forward.
close. You're
Yeah,
really
yeah,
close. And
we'll-
I know this has been a
we'll con-
process for you.
We'll
Let's-
continue this, subject to your engineer just updating a little sketch there. And
For the,
silt fence and.
The silt fence and the
silt fence and
bales.
hay-bales, and the water crossing and sewer crossing across the public way.
I
Approval.
think he's got those, right?
you show
He's got your
lines,
locations, but
but then
you just
they're
need to go to
dead
the
off.
town.
They're
to,
not across the road, so they stop here.
It should be
No, they
indicated
don't.
on the
They go-
plan.
They go right across the road.
What do you mean they go right across
Here's
the
the
road?
water line.
There's your
here's the
plans, you got
septic,
water
and
line
here's
The
the water.
septic and the water lines go right across the road?
Yeah,
Underneath the road.
Yeah, this is.
that's what we're talking about.
They're already underneath?
No, they're not.
Well, the
Yeah.
old ones are.
The old ones are, but not the new
The
ones.
water line, they just
Yeah.
run down to the pond.
So we're just gonna
We've gotta get the blessing on
they're gonna get the blessing from
and.
Mr. young Mr. Smith. And,
They gotta go see
and the
Jimmy at the highway
selectmen.
department, that's where it starts, that permit gets signed, then everything gets CC
And then-
to
Yeah.
planning,
That permit's even considered separate from all this too.
correct.
So you just,
Yeah, but they're within that stretch until they get over to about that septic tank. Or at least the other side of the pavement, they're still within that 100-foot jurisdiction.
yeah, it's the first
Yeah, right, yeah, they're right past the septic
whatever,
tank,
of
yeah.
the leach field.
So
So,
the long and the short of it,
Let's get
we're
it-
gonna have to continue.
yeah,
Mike knows that he's gotta go see Jimmy to get the permitting for the sewer and the water line going across the street. He's gotta go back to the engineer and have him modify and change the plans demonstrating the hay bales at the bottom,
So-
up top, et cetera.
On that plan or on our markups, it says water line, it says septic line, it should say proposed water line, proposed septic line.
It doesn't show permitted, but it shows location and it shows
Right, but
direction.
on where it crosses the road,
Mhm.
Should
it
say
should
proposed.
state proposed.
Nope, it does not.
You have your old one though, Mike?
It should.
Center Road
So
travel,
I ask you to put it on. the plan.
Blacktop Road,
Well,
no,
I'll tell you what, that freaking heat ring.
travelway, easement, Blacktop Road,
okay,
14 feet.
40,
Can I
Fine.
see- You're gonna take that with you? Can I take it? What is it?
sure.
59?
Yeah, told you it's not
60
72.
something.
You,
It was at 70. If we put it down to 65, then I brought it back up.
It's nice out here, when the door open.
Yes.
let's
Can I
get,
see that? And I'll write it on. You're gonna take that with you.
Sure, but
Yeah,
here's
Bruce
the thing,
engineer.
if I can be totally honest.
Oh, and Pat might have a question. I want to check with her, but go ahead.
We've gone back because of things happening. We've gone back to him so many times.
your engineer.
There's no, the surveyor who
Yep.
puts that together. And, because of some miscommunication and some other things, other factors that I won't go into. We've gone back to him many times, and I would like it if you could accept a drawing with as is, but if you absolutely needed to have it done.
So you've given us a person that is skilled in PDFs, which is a format, as I'm sure we all know, could adjust these drawings easily and it would suffice. You already have an engineered stamp on this. I wouldn't do it without double checking. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not saying to do it, but we don't know who makes these edits. So anyone can make these edits.
Yeah.
And then resubmit it. It's or take this plan and just make your edits a different color or a different font and
Right.
note it.
That's one thing though, about the wattles and everything. Well, it will depend where the water line is in the spring.
On the pond, correct. That's why we
Yep.
stated we want to make sure they're to the highest point they can be. We're not going to allow the pond, well, it's low right
Well,
now, so we'll put the wattles there.
There's flexibility on
Put
it.
them to the highest point.
So if it's not perfect on the plan, that's fine.
Adjust accordingly.
But if you note it, it just makes sure it's separate from the engineer stamp. We're not gonna deny it.
I get it. Yep.
What happened is, but you also, when you make edits and revisions, this plan does have to get resubmitted to the state just for their records.
Shown on the as-built, correct?
What?
Could that be shown on the as-built?
Good.
Yeah. So your final plan, when it goes into the state, would show
Yeah.
the exact
yeah, good.
locations, the exact location of your sewer and your water going into your building. Cause nothing down there changes.
So. He kicked on, it's hot.
Well, she cools off quick. You can tell it dropping quickly
Go ahead.
outside.
Jane?
That we had our other plan with us. We could show you how 2 years ago to put the septic system in. They made the plan how to go, where to go. So it was approved on that plan. So wouldn't that hold that's already been approved
No, your septic plan was approved,
as
But-
well?
and your well and all that was approved by the Board of Health. You still have to get permission to cross under the town right of way. Which is,
Everything is already on the
Road.
plan. House,
Yeah.
septic,
it's showing,
it's all
Your-
there. It's all
you know,
showing.
your engineer showed it coming under the road and such. But you
Okay,
still have to get
so
approval, permission to go under the road. They're not gonna deny you for sure, Jane. They're not gonna deny you because every other one over there is the same way,
This one is.
you know? And that's a heavily traveled road. There's about 6, 7 cars a day go down that road,
Yeah.
you know? This time of year, it's about 2.
all right, so he is going to, on here, is it noted? You're gonna stay with the wattles and we're gonna put a line of silt fence down.
No, gonna put silt fence and a row of straw bales down at the bottom.
At the bottom, yeah.
And then up at the
Just make
top.
sure- Write it down so they have that, if
And then
you
up the
want, or
top.
Mike, you can write it down.
So
Yeah.
going
We
down the
keep going.
hill, we're
That's
staying,
double ways of two
we're
rows of
staying
wattles.
2 row of wattles and no
Yeah.
silt fence?
No, you won't need it. because you're not gonna have any issues going that way,
All right, so there's no silt fence, it's just wattles.
just wattles.
Okay.
And then up
Okay.
at the top, right on the edge of the pavement, you can stake in some silt fence right on the edge of the pavement, which is still barely enough to get an excavator in there to dig your cellar hole,
Mm,
and let the flap sit out on the road, and then put hay bales in front of that. That'll hold the flap down, hold it tight, and seal it as best as can be done.
right, this is
Because
gonna
you
be the
don't have
most
room-
important.
You don't
one
have
of
room
the
behind the
fence.
silt fence to put the hay bales and still have room to work.
Mhm.
So you kinda gotta run it
So I
backwards.
wanna check in with Pat, see if he has any questions before we motion to continue this, and
No, I'm all set.
And that's gonna go what, to the
Thank you, Pat.
February
You're
what meeting?
um,
Boy, I don't know that it'd be ready for next meeting for sure, cause you gotta get before the selectmen.
Right, this is why I'm asking, let's figure out, this is 30 days from
Bump it
now?
off in 30 days, maybe, if that's okay.
But.
It lets you
as
still
long-
keep
as long
going.
as we're moving ahead.
Yeah, no, it's
As
not
long
gonna
as we're
stop.
moving ahead, that's.
start, like.
So in other words, he can go to the building permit?
I-
Well,
yeah,
with
yeah.
him, it-
No, no, I'm
no
talking
reason
his
not to.
demolition. What really truly is his next phase? I assume it's gonna be to remove the existing building, correct?
Right, so the next step will
Well,
be highway,
we get too far.
Highway
We're
department.
telling him how to do it.
highway department, demolition permit.
We're not, no, I'm not telling him how to do it. I'm just saying his next move is going to be to remove the building. Can he?
Yeah.
No, it's gonna
You
be,
can't remove it though until.
you
this
gotta
is-
get approval from the,
That's
removing
what
the
I'm
building,
saying.
yeah, would be is down the road.
So we need
Get
to
the
get
approval from the
this
town.
done before he can do
Yeah,
that,
let's bump
correct?
it out a month.
Listen, you still have mitigation you have to do.
Yeah.
You have a whole lot of other stuff you have to do
Yeah.
before you even consider doing it.
Yeah,
Okay,
So start doing that.
yeah, okay,
We're not holding you up though,
got it.
right.
but
Keep
get us the
moving.
stuff in the next, we'll say a month.
Mm.
So end of,
20.
February.
What's the
End of
next
February,
meeting?
beginning of March.
February what is gonna be the next meeting, Jim?
Colby's gonna tell us in a minute.
February 12th and, whatever that one after that. So,
I put it right
Maybe
off till the
26.
very end or first week of March, first meeting in March. That gives them, because it's gonna take a little bit to get this before the selectmen. They may hear it right off next week if Jimmy presented it to them. They might take
Yeah,
2-3
I'll
weeks.
go down
so
tomorrow.
let's plan the first meeting in March. It gives you time to
March.
do some of the detail stuff
Mhm.
that we need, but keep charging forward.
Okay,
26.
What is
So
it?
what's the one in March? What's the first one in March? The
12?
12th?
That's 12 as well.
Okay.
12 as well as February 12.
So
okay.
I make a motion to continue, the notice of intent for 22 Sonora Road, CWB 2024-197, DV number 308, 0719 to March 12th. So they can get their road crossing permit in line. But by no means, we're telling you, you have to wait to start the process of everything else.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You got a lot of paperwork ahead of you. You can keep moving.
okay, got it.
Did you say that Jimmy to go to the
Highway department.
highway department?
How we
No,
doing?
you're gonna take a ride down there. Mike will take a ride down.
Yeah, across from Starlight, you know where it is, right?
We'll
Yeah.
go see if we can get begin the process for a demolition permit.
But you won't do because tomorrow. Yeah, actually tomorrow.
And
they're
everybody
there,
should
yeah.
be open for
And then,
business.
At the same time.
And he goes to the building
we'll
department for the
communicate
demo
with the
permit?
architect to Get things going, well.
So I made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Have a second.
Wait
Roll
a
call
second.
vote, starting with Pat.
Yes,
Jim,
Yes, Jim Dorian, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
All right, so he knows when the meetings, he's gotta do the water line, septic line, change the erosion
Yep.
control on the.
So
Okay.
before I don't wanna get these confused with what we have. I'll leave
Sorry,
that over
confusing
there.
enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
What's
what,
the windows?
what's wrong with the windows? We just spent a lot of money putting them in 10, 15 years ago, didn't we?
I don't know, maybe they came in with purple cross tags. 8 o'clock, we're gonna move on to,
Yes,
3.1.
yes.
Mr. Potts you can sign yourself back in now. You recuse yourself, now you can come back to the meeting.
I just noticed on here,
You're here.
it does say, control wattles fencing, so it does indicate fencing,
Something, yeah.
yeah,
So, but there's a detail element to it.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
And that's usually a broken line.
Okay,
And wattles are that demonstrates wattles.
okay,
If, listen,
As
if
far
you
as
get
a fence, it
detail-
isn't.
Details are just copy and paste elements in those plans. If you just give us a detail on a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet and
Good
staple it to it, that'll work.
okay,
Um,
all right, got it,
but call Colby if you have, call Kevin.
okay,
You know, it's,
We're here to help you, Mike.
okay, all right.
yeah, we're not trying to slow you down. You know, if anything, what?
I'm fucking freezing my feet.
I know, don't turn it up, it's hot, like.
I know.
Pat, are you warm?
I am just right.
Cold in
No,
here.
because it's hot and cold and
Goes from 70 to 58.
You're not missing anything. You're good where you
you made the
are.
right choice.
You bet. I've been in there before when it was too warm.
3.1 Townsend Flood Reduction Survey, grant was awarded from Mass Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program. Survey is needed by January 29th, and then there is also a community meeting associated with this, Colby.
On the 28th.
So responses are needed by the 29th.
This month, this January 28th or Feb?
No, hold on. So responses for the survey, which the link is on the town's website, are needed by January 29th, and then
And there was a
mark your
meeting.
calendar, mark your calendar and plan to attend the winter workshop on Thursday, February 6th from 6 to 7 at the Townsend Public Library. This workshop provides an opportunity for community discussion of flooding concerns and ways that you can help to reduce flooding. Children are welcome to attend. We'll have their own activity. Refreshments will be provided. So what this project means for Townsend, a comprehensive stormwater infrastructure inventory looking at culverts and stream crossings, development of flood reduction solutions, including nature-based solutions and green infrastructure strategies. And if you pull this up on the town's website, it has links to for examples, and then a plan for improved stormwater management to protect our local watershed. So it's under the work session. It's kind of a correspondence. I feel that it's important, at least, you know, for us to go and at least listen or,
Yeah, that's be an interesting meeting.
you know, the
I'll go with you,
floods are
Jimmy.
getting worse.
I'll go with you, Jimmy.
And that's the 6th and the 7th.
No, it's the 6th, and then it's from 6 to 7
Well, 6 to 7, okay.
at the library.
Feb, okay.
But stormwater infrastructure is something that is often neglected. It's not something you see until it's either collapsed or, you know, overflowing. The perfect example is Old Meeting House Road at the end.
It's fine down there.
Gotcha.
So a lot of ones in town, culverts in town are undersized and, you know, without responses and feedback, it can stall progress. And these are requirements the state and the federal government require. Receive grants. So Yes, sir.
The survey is really easy to use. It's, like I said, it's linked on the Conservation Commission website, it's right at the top. There's more information about it if you're interested on the Land Use Department website. Again, really easy to use. Go in, pinpoint a location that you notice flooding. Anyone can do it, and it's needed for us to receive money from this grant to apply, where to go and find areas that need this. This is a grant that we've been awarded. We have the money, it's ready for us. We just need to apply it and
For
know
project,
where to use it,
great.
have the appropriate sites.
A lot of the culvert replacements and stream crossings have to meet a strict stream water crossing standard that can be difficult sometimes to meet, but with proper guidance, it is helpful and with the support of Conservation Commission. And we've always been supportive to the town highway department in this. So
the grant money is available.
we have the grant money to
What's the
create the
number?
plan.
What's the number? Is there a number that they put on available?
No, it doesn't have to do with the actual work. It has to do with the long-term plan, which is part of the fight. If you have a long-term plan, it helps guide community. People can understand.
Right, this started a long time ago. Beginning of last year, I brought Jimmy Smith down to West Meadow, went over all my culverts. So he reviewed all of them. He sent Keith down,
They need to be upgraded.
opened.
Well, look at the one by the bridge.
No, I know,
Yeah, that's
they are all over the place in town.
Yeah, and this one covered
Back
the open.
100 years ago,
He didn't realize it was there, and he sent the backhoe in, opened both ends. He goes, Jesus, you know what? There is a culvert there, open and clear, so we've got to get back at some time. But you know what that takes?
There's one up on Townsend.
Permitting.
Colby's house. Is it?
DEP's
expectation
of that, to do-
Almost been kicked out of the ground.
to do any culvert, he's expected to get an NOI.
Well, and part of that is
I'm just saying.
the support in the on our behalf with that, and there's you can't just use the same plans that they've used for the past 50 years. They have to be upgraded
Mhm.
and updated for those 100-year storms, and DEP won't issue permits if they don't need them because of that. They don't want to see stuff, infrastructure get washed away or damaged and have to do it again, do it again, do it again. Yes, you good?
3.2.
Everyone. Well, there's a lot to it. It's frustrating. I know
What do you mean?
the highway
3.2.3
superintendent's frustrated with some of it, and I understand.
or 3.2?
So,
Okay.
Do the survey.
and then go to the night. 3.2, 2025 Community Grants Program, Nissitissit Rivers Wild and Scenic Stewardship Council. Application deadline is March 3rd.
Similar, isn't it? Similar.
Lisa, your hand is up. I don't want to get too far ahead.
No, that's all right. Is that all just about culvert replacements? I filled out that survey several times because you're allowed to address the harbor flooding.
So it says
Right.
flood reduction solutions. So I think you're
Yeah,
right there. You need to be there.
total candidate.
Not just culverts.
Well, it's flood reduction, and Lisa has oh my God, I'm telling you, what's that thing called?
The dam or the
The
H&B dam?
Cooperage.
Yeah, the H&V, what's that thing called? Floodgate, the
Oh,
floodgate,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That affects her house.
Yeah,
She
the
is right
floodgate
there on the
affects her
pond.
house. And,
I'm glad I'm not the only one that can't remember things.
Wow, she's in.
Thank you, Don.
Well, she has all the candy there for her. so.
Yeah, no Scooby snacks here. That's a little bit of a set.
I need a little chocolate here right now to get me through.
I was gonna say, if Kev had a Scooby, we'd be good.
Oh,
No, that's,
On this path.
anything to help reduce flooding concerns and help to reduce flooding, so yeah.
Well, and we all know the FEMA overlays have all changed. The footprints of where the floodplains were have increased. I mean, even you
well,
see.
things are a little bit better
at
for
the
you,
soccer field
Lisa.
now, it's
Lisa, you still with us?
increased incredibly.
Yes,
Hi, Lisa. Things are a little bit better for you since they started, maintaining or overseeing that since, you were having the problems, correct?
yeah, they have a flow meter in there. I'm hoping that they're being diligent about watching it. But with this wonderful drought, sorry, we kind of love that down here when there's no
Yeah.
high water.
But you didn't like it this morning, down it was 12 below, did you?
And I had 14 at my house below.
Well, 14 on the downside.
Anyway,
So Lisa,
there is an
here is the
EAP. Hollingsworth and Bose created an EAP for flooding in the harbor. So
Floodplain management kind of a thing.
okay.
emergency action plan, yeah.
Emergency
So-
action plan.
I'm thinking I should go to this meeting and ask some questions. See what, if
Very well.
anything, can be done to help.
So you were
us.
at the mercy of H&V monitoring and opening and closing that if it's a issue of flood?
Yes.
Hey, you were here for that, weren't you?
Yeah,
Were you?
Which one was that?
Wasn't.
No, that's right. You were
You
out
were
on that. Yeah,
Right.
Never mind.
you're out there.
So in other words,
We'll
if you
give it to
have if there's a heavy water event and you're flooding, it's the responsibility of H&V to go down there and open.
The floodgate.
That's correct. Unlike
they-
the old days when Roy Shepherd would run over or one of us would run over and do it, but now it's a locked gate and I've worked very closely with them. Typically over the years, it was me calling them in the middle of the night saying, yep, come on down.
Or was it, he just opened it. He opened it up and kind of kept an eye on it.
I got you.
So
Probably with help from Lisa, but Lisa's dad, who back then would have the same thing. They've got a
Okay.
pipe sticking out the back of Lisa's house. Goes out there, when that water backs up, starts coming up, it's
Yep, yep.
backing up the pipe, it's flooding her basement.
I got you.
And she's been calling at one point to bring you back up to speed. She was calling H&V and they just weren't getting out there.
Lisa, when did they submit
Nope.
the EAP plan? Because I know they talked about it.
yep, it was last year and
They got a woman
Autumn-
involved.
Autumn
Yeah.
showed you at a meeting. Autumn
Yeah.
presented at a CONSCOM meeting.
Okay, yeah, no, I remember now.
And they put up I remember
See, Jimmy, you're not
going
the only
down, I went down.
I would've
there, Lisa,
known.
when
I
they were
would've-
Putting it on.
I would have been on
The
top of that. I
monitoring
did not
system.
realize that she is
I've
at the
been
mercy.
calling them, Jimmy, for the last 30 years. It's been me in the middle of the night calling saying, hey, I got
The
water,
house to your
open the
left.
gate.
Is it the house to your immediate left and you that are really the only two that suffer harshly, right?
Correct.
And the two houses at the end of the pond, basically Lisa and the one kind of right on the corner there.
31.
31.
So this is something you should be involved in and
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I still think that some town entity has to be coordinated with H&V other than just
I-
myself.
yeah, it should, and I believe that was
Weren't they supposed
discussed.
to notify? They were supposed to notify us.
Right, and I
It'd be in-
think we talked, it was gonna be a
It'd be in
fire.
communication if there was high water, through
I mean, if
Jessica,
this
believe,
is
or Autumn.
something, if I was
No,
going
I
through
think
my
we were gonna
basement
go
flooding
all-
for 30 years, I'd be figuring this out.
And I think we talked about either.
Oh, but Roy
management.
used to go open it when it
Roy
flooded.
just
You
did it.
can't
Roy-
depend on that
it
kind
was
of
probably
foolishness.
Lisa's dad looked out the window.
I get it, I
Poor
get it.
Lisa called Roy D. Roy D went over and friggin' flipped her up 2 cranks.
And go. and
Well,
go.
Roy just drove by and looked under the bridge.
Said, yep.
When
Yeah.
he came down to the shop in the morning, he
Yeah.
looked under the bridge and said, holy shit, she's right there. But he would have known right where it was before it was gonna affect them. And he probably just cranked it open and went across and opened the shop,
Open the shop.
fixed something.
We know
And-
that.
And then later when
Mr.
things
Chair?
got there, yeah.
Again, I had come to the CONSCOM meeting with this concern, and Izzy from the environmental engineer from H&V
Engineer from
came
H&V.
online, and we had a meeting, and she put together the EAP. She sent that back. Autumn presented it, but we did notice that some of the names in town for contacts were outdated, i.e., fire chief, police chief, whatever. And so I believe Autumn got those corrected. So that EAP should be, I think, somewhere there. Maybe Colby will come across it in the files somewhere. Anyway, it's under control. They have a flow meter. When there's a particular amount of flow coming through that canal, some employee is supposed to come down and open the gate. And they're good about it.
Okay, so there's a mechanism presently that is.
Now there is. There was not before. Lisa's been flooded, and our neighbor to her left
Okay,
been flooded, and it's been just about come over the road there
both.
in the last couple
But
of
we
years.
still have an erosion
Yeah,
problem.
we gotta.
So
keep
thank
it
you.
going.
I'll let you go. You guys got things to do. I'll
Thank
go to
you,
that
Lisa.
meeting and I'll ask a ton of
Anytime you wanna come
questions.
Join us.
You can come up and visit us anytime.
Yeah,
Thanks, Lisa.
Still on the chalkboard. Bye-bye.
So the next thing is, community grants program for, Nissitissit Rivers Wild and Scenic Stewardship, Council application. This is what, I believe what we were awarded for
The work,
for
the work down
the
on the,
surveying.
yeah.
So I wanna,
that was
Claims
Mr. Tissitt, or was
I think
that
we should try
the
again.
Neshoba Valley?
I think we should
It
reapply.
was Mr. Tissitt.
I think we should reapply, and maybe we can get some more money to maybe do a little surveying or do a little forestry management through a state approved forester, and maybe with Colby's help, an oversight.
So in other words, like
So,
up
hold
on
on,
Meadow
let's-
Road, if that needs to be thinned out and logged, other properties.
Different parcels, yeah.
we're gonna give you your first action item.
Ooh. Get ready, an action item.
In the,
Do we need to appoint, no, we just welcome him, we're not really appointing him, right?
what?
He's already been hired,
Yeah,
so-
no, we just have to authorize him to sign off on
Yeah.
our behalf, but,
yeah.
could you come up, there is conservation owned properties list. Come up with a handful of properties, go take a look at them
Just cruising.
and see which ones would benefit from bounds marking. We'll get a couple prices because we have to be competitive. But we've always, you don't have to get pricing from 3 people to apply for the grant. If you get in contact with Dillis Roy and just ask them for a basic number to apply for the grant. It's a start. If we figure out maybe 2 or 3 parcels,
Yeah, well, like, if you do 2 or 3 at a time, I think it saves a little money,
right?
because they can do it at their leisure. So they can send a crew of guys over on the days they don't have much going on. Give them a long timeline to do it, and they'll give you a better price.
If you come up with a list of properties that you feel would benefit from bounds marking, and a plan of land. And at the same time, maybe
You can take it to,
we get a quote to have a forester, create, cutting plans for the 3 parcels that are being surveyed currently.
I know that one out.
I'll get to it.
there's a couple pieces got some timber on them.
Now, didn't we
But-
just
So this is,
have some logging done?
Hold on.
this is outside of this.
In town.
This is,
But it wasn't us.
Well, no, so we have to kind of pick and choose
I
what
think it
we're
was
gonna
town
apply for.
property.
Yeah, town property.
Hold on. I don't know what any of our, not since I've been on.
They just did the logging on town property.
Right, not us,
No.
not conservation.
No.
Yeah, Kevin's building some affordable houses on them, I think.
No.
Kidding, everyone, kidding. No, just because we could pick and choose, maybe we survey 2 properties and do a forestry cutting plan on another.
what's your, wildlife habitat restoration, or are you trying to 10% from?
Both.
Will make money?
I think, I feel both, the commission can provide their thoughts. I'm only one person.
He's cold, so he's not on point. Even if you put it under for fire management.
I can do a cursory look, but it's a bigger conversation, I think.
I think it's something that we really,
Well, he needs to have a specific point to go look at. Is he looking for forestry thinning?
Well, I would
for
look at
money?
the
Is
bigger parcels. We've got some bigger parcels.
Well, the 20 acre up
Yeah.
there at least.
Yeah,
Are we
you
gonna
know.
do
no,
that?
but
Cause it's overgrown, we can make some money on the forestry. Is it overgrown
just
for
wanna
a point?
manage
It's
it.
a fire
need
management
to.
situation? I don't know, what is it?
Some parcels the town's got really just need to be.
I think
and
you would be able to provide some of that feedback. You know,
Just good business, just
better than
good
us, but
practice.
I look at it as if it's fire management and, you know,
Stay
forestry
current about,
health,
yeah.
you know.
If you leave the woods the way they are and you don't manage them, they don't grow.
Pat, do you have anything you wanna add?
Not so much as that, but you guys are really over talking each other. It makes it kind of hard to keep track of and interrupt each other. If we could calm that down a little, that would be great.
So we get hot and then we get cold and then we get distracted. It is really having a tough time tonight for all of us.
I thought I was being extra quiet, for God's sakes.
I do too.
I'll do an inventory, sort of abbreviated inventory of what's out there. Something
That would be great.
So, well,
just to get an idea about what.
And I assume
resources we're working on.
Victoria is the assessor, she would have a full listing of every piece of property we have.
we already have,
We have that in.
we already have a database, but,
Oh, he has it in the,
Mhm.
okay.
so, but we do have a time table or time limit here because March 3rd is the,
What time do we apply?
so. You know, the
For
the
long.
properties I would look
Yeah,
at for the
so some
forestry
money.
management,
For some money.
well, hey, we gotta, she can't. At some point, someone's gonna watch this and say,
What?
There's a lot going on.
holy, there's 3 parcels, 1 on Dudley Road, 2 on West Meadow that are being bound and surveyed. Those are the 3 that I would start with getting a quote for the management plan.
They wrote in one.
Only makes sense.
West Meadow.
20
I would look-
acre and
I
what's,
don't, that,
No, this is good.
you can look it up.
Direction.
those are the 3 I'd start, because those are the ones we know where the bounds are, there's no questioning that. I would pick 2 or 3 larger parcels that would make sense to have surveyed. Like we are now, and I'm sure you can call me and I can try to figure it out with you over the phone, or you can come in, on a cold day. But, you know, try to continue what we did this past year. This next round of. But we'll look to you to identify those parcels. Are we all on the same page?
I got the idea.
Mike, you've been quiet.
Well, no, I mean, all this is new to me. One thing that I have learned is that even though I don't know Colby's background at all, it seems like he is like super knowledgeable about this kind of stuff. I don't know if that's true.
I
or
didn't
not.
want to, no, I didn't want to force.
Yeah.
Colby's background is fairly extensive in one agriculture, horticulture, forestry management,
Really? Okay,
and a
so,
little bit of some other stuff as far as, yeah.
I didn't want to
Well,
embarrass.
well, but the point apropos to this conversation is that it sounds like you must have a pretty good idea of what we're looking for here, and that you can fill in the gaps. Yeah.
At the same time, if you're available and want to walk some of these areas with them,
Well,
or
that's a good idea.
or Jimmy, you know, your feedback, because your extensive town history, you know, collaborate. We don't have to just collaborate here.
I get it.
All together, and you know, Mike has the luxury of being retired for now, so he starts building a house. But
It's not like that.
I think by the next meeting we need to have a list so we can discuss it. I see you. We're moving on.
Poor guy's cold.
I know it is cold. 3.3 vote to authorize Colby Streeter to sign off on Conservation Commission behalf for administrative approvals.
Second. Is that
He
the
said,
motion?
I'll make the motion.
Make the motion. Kevin second, James Story, yes.
That was quick.
Pat,
Pat,
I missed out on saying second.
okay,
Kevin
I
got
beat
the-
ya.
Kevin
okay,
won.
so Kevin seconded. Jimmy has voted yes.
Mike
Pat?
Potts, yes.
Mike
I vote
Potts,
yes. Patrick,
James
yes.
Keats, yes.
Kevin, yes.
Unanimous. Colby moving on.
This is us being distracted.
That was 2.3.
Oh, that was
3.3.
3.3.
4.1, I like it.
So correspondence, for 134 Warren Road, ECR Forestry cutting plan, there's a NHDSP letter associated with it,
And
has to be completed October 15th to March 15th. There is 10 cords of wood and 37,000 board feet of wood coming out.
And that's a DCR piece.
Nope, it's the DCR cutting plan. The Town of Townsend.
Oh, it's that piece.
Or-
Okay.
is that Haynes?
Hold on,
Is that water?
landowner, no, it's not the town. I can't pronounce that last name.
So this is a private
It's a
entity?
private-
Okay.
Wukulowicz.
Ed?
No, Mike and Bernadette Wukulowicz, the same family.
Same family. Gotcha. All right.
So,
So that's in West Townsend then?
No, it's on,
Warren
no,
Road.
it's Warren Road, just past, you know, where I did those, where we did gravel
Yeah,
pit, just
yep,
past
yep,
around
yep.
the corner on the
Yeah,
left.
yeah. I was thinking of Pat.
so,
Cousins or sisters or brothers.
Yeah.
they have to do a return a certain time, but that's it, that's correspondence. Education conferences, again, there is the flood reduction, meeting February 6th, 6
At
to
the
7.
library?
At the library. MACC has classes.
What time is that, Jimmy?
What, Pat?
What time is the meeting?
6 to 7.
Okay, thank you.
On February 6th.
Yep.
6.
Got that.
There's light refreshments too.
Bring some of Pat's goodies, I'll be there. Pat, bring goodies.
Bring
Items
goodies.
for discussion at the next meeting, we have the grants we need to discuss. I don't know what else we have pending, at this moment, but Colby doesn't have anything on hand. That's all I have. Next meeting is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025 at 7 PM, Forest Select Chambers, second floor. Meeting will also be held via virtual Zoom. We have a motion to adjourn 8:30.
I'll make a motion.
Before you adjourn, hold on one second.
Yes,
All
Matt.
right, Pat.
That's okay. Jimmy, I'll make sure to have Scooby snacks for our next meeting. I will be there.
You're the best, Pat.
I mean, we made out like banners because Kevin and I got plaid shirts too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was as good as a Scooby snack,
Yeah, that's
Pat, you
better
know
than a
that.
Scooby snack.
All
All
right,
right.
we,
Kevin made a motion.
I'm gonna, well, no, I'll finish my motion. I'll make a motion to, adjourn the January 22, meeting and,
good enough.
At 8:30 p.m.
at 8:30 p.m.
Do
We have a
we have a second?
Second,
Mike Potts, yes?
You got a second.
Well, Pat said second, so Mike
That
Potts
always beats on the
Yes.
second usually.
Mike, start your vote again.
Mike Potts said yes?
Jim Dorian, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Pat Jamal,
Thanks,
yes.
Pat.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Pat.
the only
Thank
reason
you.
we get-
Have a good night, guys.